Hello and thanks for joining us from our studios in Israel. I'm Aaron Porras here with ILTV's Morning Brief. With the infection of 3 Israelis in quarantine off the coast of Japan and the growing number of cases spreading into East Asian countries, the Israeli Health Ministry is now expanding its isolation directives for potential coronavirus carriers.
אני רוצה להוסיף, כל מה שעשינו, כל הצעדים, זה סופר זהירות, אפילו טיפה קיצונית לשמור על הבריאות של הציבור, אבל עדיין אנחנו חושבים שלצערנו הקורונה הזה יגיע לארץ. דוחים את זה כל הזמן, עושים את כל הדברים, אבל אנחנו חוששים שבהחלט זה יגיע.
According to the Israeli Health Ministry, any and all travelers returning from Thailand, Hong Kong, Singapore, and Macau must now go into 2 weeks of isolation upon their arrival, regardless of symptoms. Until now, there had only been a travel advisory against going to China and other nearby nations. But there does seem to be reason enough for the worry. International health officials warn that it may be dangerous to public safety to release people from quarantine early, like the Israelis on the Diamond Princess cruise liner by Japan. Also, we still don't know enough about the coronavirus other than that it's highly contagious. One exception to the new directive, however, is for El Al Israeli airline crews who are not required to go into isolation at all, unless they've spent more than 1 night in problematic areas or are presenting with symptoms. At any rate, while Israel's government looks for ways to address the virus physically, religious leaders are praying for the afflicted. In fact, hundreds from around the country have gathered at the Western Wall in Jerusalem to stand in solidarity.
Now, we're discussing rapid normalization. The first Israeli airplane passed yesterday over the skies of Sudan. The first Israeli plane.
It's been just 2 weeks since Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu met with Sudanese leader General Abdel Fattah Burhan. But despite decades of frozen diplomatic ties, it looks like Sudan and Israel may finally be normalizing their relations. Israeli commercial planes have started flying over Sudanese airspace, according to Netanyahu, something that was previously unheard of. And in the past, Israel has viewed Sudan as a security threat because of suspicions that the African nation was being used as a conduit by Iran to smuggle munitions into the Gaza Strip. Sudan has been a longtime member of the Arab League and has joined in on rejecting the United States' recently revealed Middle East peace plan, but Sudan's new leadership understands that to rebuild the economy, Sudan must seek an end to American sanctions as a United States-listed sponsor of terror. And this perhaps is why Israel and Sudan seem to be coming closer, although Sudan has stopped short of saying that it's normalizing ties altogether with the Jewish state. If official relations are established, they could allow for the repatriation of illegal Sudanese migrants in Israel, and Israel could in turn lobby the United States to improve Sudan's standing in Washington. But for Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu, a normalization could also help him show off his diplomatic credentials just weeks ahead of Israel's national elections. Under his leadership, Netanyahu claims that Israel is becoming closer than ever to its previous enemies.
I've been developing contacts with the Arab countries and Muslim countries, and I can tell you there's scarcely 1, 2, 3 Muslim or Arab countries around the world that we don't have deepening ties with.
A young Israeli girl has just discovered an explosive device in her yard, leading police to rush to the scene. The child in Moshav Shuva reportedly came across a bomb strapped to a bouquet of balloons, which is believed to have come from the Gaza Strip, and police have already detonated the device. This comes after officials were forced to close Route 6, though, after more suspicious objects were found on the highway. Palestinian terrorists in the Gaza Strip have been flying explosives and incendiary devices into Israel using balloon clusters and kites since the start of 2018. Over the weekend, the IDF struck Hamas targets in central Gaza after several more such incendiary balloons landed in Israeli territory. That's all for now, but for more news from Israel, remember to like ILTV on Facebook and on Instagram, and to subscribe to us on YouTube. I'm Aaron Porras, and see you later with our main daily broadcast from Israel at 2 p.m. Eastern Time.